Hello, and welcome to the podcast all about the RMS Titanic. In this podcast, you'll find loads of interesting stories and facts about this floating hotel called the Titanic. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, what is the Titanic? Well, it was a passenger ship that started being built in 1909 and then set sail on her maiden voyage in 1912. It was the largest ship of its time and had two sister ships, the Olympic and the Britannic. After 4 days of peaceful sailing, at 11:40 p.m, Titanic struck an iceberg going at the speed of 20.5 knots. The iceberg scratched a massive hole in the hull of the ship, which caused it to sink. Nearly 3 hours later, the Titanic was completely submerged in the water. This is the story of the RMS Titanic. It's the 31st of March 1909 and the shipbuilding company Harland & Wolff have just started building the Titanic, not knowing that all this hard work will be lost at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean in a few years. After 3 years, Titanic was built and passengers have just started booking tickets for an exciting voyage to New York from Southampton. On Wednesday the 10th of April 1912, shortly after 12 noon, Titanic set sail from Southampton's White Star Dock on her maiden voyage. All was calm until the 14th of April 1912 at 11:40 p.m, when an ear-piercing scratching noise was heard from the bottom of the boat. Immediately, people came to see what was going on. Some people saw broken ice on the decks and decided to play football with the chunks of ice. About an hour later, at 12:45 p.m, Lifeboat 7 was launched. This was the first to be launched into the cold Atlantic water. Only women and children were allowed to board the lifeboats, and if there was enough time at the end, men could board. Most men just jumped off the side of the boat and froze to death in the -2 degrees water. After nearly 3 hours of absolute horror, the ship had completely disappeared under the waves, never to sail across the seas ever again.